Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this ag forecast video for South America, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. I want to start off with just kind of keeping pace with some of the things we've been discussing over the last few weeks, and we're going to go right back to looking at our precipitation graphics here over the last 60 days. And again, it's very much a similar story. Mato Grosso, big growing area in the north. Right now, while it's been a little drier as of late, you can see here in early January they've been drier than average. We're still sitting, very close to the climatological normal, about an inch below average. As we go east of there over to Goiás, again, we've built up a little bit of a deficit here as of late in terms of precipitation. Again, this has largely been due to a drier January, but it's south that we've been concerned about. Paraná, currently looking at an 8.5-inch deficit in total precipitation over the last 60 days. From there, we can go to Rio Grande do Sul, which is looking at 7.69 inches in total deficit. And then stuck in the middle between these two places, Paraná, Rio Grande do Sul, and Mato Grosso is Mato Grosso do Sul. And they've lately picked up a deficit as well, about 4 inches. So we know that this area is showing the drought stress, especially in these southern growing areas. And I want to show you now on that USDA site some of the analysis being done with one of the satellites called MODIS on board the platform called Terra. Now, when we do NDVI analysis, I just want to make sure this is very clear. We don't often use it for these northern and eastern growing areas. And again, I've stressed this before, but there's too much cloud contamination. So we typically only do this for southern Brazil. And I just drew a line from Mato Grosso do Sul through Paraná and down to Rio Grande do Sul. And this is what we have for those areas. Where's Mato Grosso do Sul? Well, if average NDVI values are sitting right in here on this black line, we're certainly below average, and we're nowhere near where we were a year ago, which were some pretty high NDVI values. So this area is starting to show up, especially down here in the southern part of Mato Grosso do Sul, where we're starting to see some stresses. From there, let's move over to, let's go one more south. How about down into Rio Grande, Paraná. As we get into Paraná, we can see here that the NDVI analysis shows us that we're on the bottom side of the min-max curve here, meaning that from vegetation the crop looks very unhealthy from space. And if we now go back to Rio Grande do Sul, the farthest to the south down here, it's the same story. So what you're seeing here is that southern Brazil, as viewed from space, has got very poor plant quality in terms of the color, the reflectance in the near infrared versus the red, and that's a really strong indicator of crop stress. Now from there, I want to show you what's going on today. This was the satellite imagery from today. We're going back in time here. We can still see how high pressure is just sitting in this vicinity. I want to show you something. Even with all the heat we've seen, you see the cumulus cloud field break out here in northern Argentina? Sometimes that cumulus cloud field will just erupt into storms, but too much upper level subsidence in the area to allow that to happen. So the cumulus clouds broke out and they didn't produce any precipitation. Now, where we're going with this pattern in the next week, it looks something like this. So just over the next 7 days, we continue to stay dry in Mato Grosso do Sul, through Sao Paulo, into Paraná, down to Rio Grande do Sul, and much of Argentina. But we need to be discussing what's coming right in here through Uruguay. And I want to show you something important about this pattern. We saw this on Thursday, right? The Antarctic Oscillation, which had been very high, had a forecast, and it's still here, to dip down here temporarily below average. And it's been a long time since it's done that, all the way back here to the beginning of October. Now, what this means when the Antarctic Oscillation dips down there is that we tend to get better troughs of lower pressure extending farther to the north. So they come out of the south to the north, and they produce fronts. And those fronts lift the air and give us chances for precipitation. And I want to show it to you. We're going to look at temperatures, though, in order to see this. Now, this is in degrees Celsius. So you're up here around 40. That's way up in the upper 90s, almost triple digit. So what I want to show you is that each day before that front gets here, take a look. A large portion here of Argentina is going to be seeing temperatures deep into the 90s, possibly cracking that 100-degree mark. As we play it forward, this is getting through the middle of this week, and here we are on Thursday. Again, very hot conditions. Playing this on through toward Friday, another hot one here. And that was Thursday. This is Friday. Got to get my dates right here, or my names in Portuguese right here. So we've got very, very warm conditions through Friday. Now this weekend is what's tricky, because what you're going to see here by Saturday. Now this is Saturday night. See right in through there the drop off in temperature. That's the advancement of a front. That southern annular mode or Antarctic oscillation is now down there in that negative territory, and the atmosphere is responding to that. And what we can see here is that front starts to advance throughout the day on Saturday, getting into Sunday. And then by Monday, it's pushed pretty far to the north, which means we're going to be watching a weakened frontal passage in through this area. Now, oftentimes when we have drought, I was just discussing this last week with some colleagues, we tend to kind of break these droughts with some pretty substantial severe weather. And I'm worried about that coming through Argentina into southern Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. And I want to show you that. I was just looking at it a minute ago, so let me take you back to the beginning. As we play through this week, getting through Tuesday into Wednesday, there through Thursday, and now through Friday. I went fast because all you saw was just your normal monsoonal convection to the north. For the most part, it is a little drier in this area. But here we go. This is now Friday, working our way into Saturday. And by Sunday, now you start to see the effect of that front. It's right here, okay? So this is now Sunday afternoon, getting into the evening hours. And you see how the model's picking up that kind of freckled look there? That would tell me that we're going to be putting down some bigger storms in this area. And then getting into Monday, look at that front stretching out right there. Some much heavier rain. Now, at this point, it looks to be scattered throughout this very important and productive region in Argentina. The heaviest rains are east over Uruguay. And this is Monday of next week, playing into Tuesday. And that front tries to keep pushing to the north here. And as it does so, we're just going to have repeated chances of storms late this weekend into early next week. So we're going to watch that very carefully because that is a shift in the overall pattern. How much precip are we going to add here? Well, nothing. Let me just play this out through Friday and Saturday. So this is the quarter, like we talked about, getting the more normal monsoonal rains. We're very dry through the end of this week in parts of southern Brazil, like Rio Grande do Sul in Argentina. But that front advances, as we know, on Sunday. See it there? And now going from Sunday into Monday, into Tuesday, and into Wednesday. So this will be the area watching most carefully. That's the narrow corridor of heaviest rains. It's drier north and drier south of that. And again, these are thunderstorms. This isn't as though this comes in as like a nice long duration, steady 2-3 day rain. It's all going to be focused on that front, and therefore some places are going to miss out on that. That's just normal summer convection. But there could be a place in through here that does pick up. 120 millimeters of rainfall. 3-4 inches off of this, that's a possibility. But remember, when you think about the growing areas down here, Cordoba's in through here. Buenos Aires is back there. This is Mato Grosso do Sul into Paraguay. So we're putting rainfall, heavy rainfall in places, but not kind of the blanket of water that would be needed to really correct this drought. What's interesting is the longer range forecast, as we look out there, tries to bring in some better upper level support into week 2 in terms of rising motion in Brazil. But what's neat about this is how it does it. Because what I'm starting to get a sense of here is that while we go into a harvest time period in Mato Grosso and points east, getting that first crop of soybeans out, drier conditions during that time period are very beneficial. They're going to get the crop out and get the new crop in, that safrinha crop in. But what will be important to see is sitting in between here is a region that's been very dry, while the models continue to leave a lingering front and wetter weather in place here. So again, a lot of this is early in that week 2 time period. I just want to stress that. The longer range, I think, is really still being controlled heavily by what's going on with this interplay between the MJO and the La Nina. And the La Nina is starting to show some warming in through here. It's just fluctuating a lot. It's no longer building, it's starting to wane. And I think the models are struggling with that. So I'm going to show you what the forecast is for January 21st to February 21st. But I don't have a lot of confidence that this will be the wet corridor while it'll be drier much, much farther to the north. So I will have to just continue to watch this. But at this point, I'm very low confidence in the February pattern at this point. I think we're going to have to wait to see where the MJO ends up and what this La Nina continues to do in terms of controlling the broad, regions of subsidence or rising motion across South America. So I'll come back to you with some new evidence of how that change might look like on Thursday. Thanks.